There's been a lot of people that has been pretty upset since Roe versus Wade was overturned, especially the individuals on the left. But there was one meme that was a reaction to how they're treating this whole situation that I found pretty funny, which was that the Democratic Party hasn't been this mad since the Republicans freed the slaves, which is true since the Democratic Party is the party of slaves, the party of the Jim Crow laws, the party of the Klan. But their anger is geared toward one individual specifically, which is Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, and he just happens to be the black guy out there. And I'm kind of upset because white leftists, elitists are saying some pretty crazy things that others would see as racist, but since he's a Republican, nobody really cares.
Justice Thomas has sort of floated that out there about contraceptive rights,
yes,
contraception, and about same-sex marriages, but other justices have pushed back to say, no, he's really sort of on his own with that.
Well,
don't believe that?
Well, he may be on his own, but he's signaling, as he often did. You know, I went to law school with him.
Mm-hmm.
He's been a person of grievance for as long as I've known him. Resentment, grievance, anger. And he has signaled in the past to lower courts, to state legislatures, find cases, pass laws, get them up. I may not win the first, the second, or the third time, but we're going to keep at it.
So you're saying people pay attention?
Now, if Clarence Thomas was a Democratic justice, people would see this as being racist since Hillary Clinton used the term he was angry and he had grievances and all these things because she's painting the picture of him being an angry black man. But since he's a Republican, nobody cares. And I will get on that whole contraceptive thing that they were speaking about a little later on in the show. But I want to go to an actor, Michael Rappaport, who had a couple choice words for Justice Clarence Thomas.
You overturned Roe versus Wade, and the leader of the pack, Clarence Thomas, you handsy, good-for-nothing, sexual harassing motherfucker, you creep. You creep. If you had gotten what you want from Anita Hill with your overtures and your sexual advancements, and you had somehow, some way impregnated her, right? Being married and all that, right? Mr. Judge, Mr. Supreme Court Judge. If you had impregnated an Anita Hill, what would you have done with that baby, you worm, you? You'd have aborted it. You'd have paid for the abortion, and you'd have paid the hush money, because you're a creep sucker, you. Bunch of fake, phony motherfuckers out there. What would you have done with that baby, Clarence? Pubic hair Clarence, you freak. You freaky little horny old dirty breath. I know your breath smells like old coffee, newspaper, and stale Band-Aids, you creepy kook, you.
I'm not going to lie, at the end of it, it sounded like he wanted to use a particular term, but since he's a leftist, he doesn't want to be painted as racist, but he had a lot of vitriol in his voice. But the case that he was talking about, if you don't know about it, with April Hill, was April Hill accused him, Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, of sexual harassment, not assault or anything like that, or rape. But he was taken through the mud through this whole situation, and he was cleared after some individuals came up, white women came up and said, no, Clarence Thomas is not even one of those type of people, because April Hill said that he made a joke referencing pubic hair in the Coca-Cola can. He went on after he was cleared and said this.
Any person in this room or any person in this country would like sleaze said about him or her in this fashion, or this dirt dredged up, and this gossip and these lies displayed in this manner. How would any person like it? The Supreme Court is not worth it. No job is worth it. I'm not here for that. I'm here for my name, my family, my life, and my integrity. I think something is dreadfully wrong with this country when any person in this free country would be subjected to this. This is not a closed room. There was an FBI investigation. This is not an opportunity to talk about difficult matters privately or in a closed environment. This is a circus. It's a national disgrace. And from my standpoint, as a black American, as far as I'm concerned, it is a high-tech lynching for uppity blacks who in any way deign to think for themselves. to do for themselves, to have different ideas. And it is a message that unless you kowtow to an old order, this is what will happen to you. You will be lynched, destroyed, caricatured by a committee of the U.S. Senate rather than hung from a tree.
Those are some strong, truthful words. But for some reason, people weren't paying attention to it because 30 years later, it was able to happen again to Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh before he was sworn in. And honestly, I don't even understand why people are upset with this ruling because, one, Roe versus Wade was made possible by 9 white men who elected to make that law, and it was overturned by 1 minority and 1 woman. So what's the big deal? And yet people are calling this a fascist move, or they're being called tyrants. But what they're doing is loosening the federal power. And that's why individuals are upset when it comes down to talks about gay marriage and to contraceptives, because it should be a state's issue. But nobody understands that. Individuals like Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg on The View talk to millions of people each and every day, confusing them about the facts.
Yeah, but don't we have church separation of church?
No, we don't anymore.
I mean, Clarence Thomas needs to have a seance and have Thomas Jefferson there and Alexander Hamilton. Hello?
Yeah.
Do we still have a separation of church and state here? Is in the Constitution?
It's the First Amendment guarantee, and we don't seem to have that anymore.
Well, we're in a theocracy right now. And
6 of the 9 want people to have the lives they want, but I don't want to force anybody. I don't want anybody coming in my house telling me how to raise my daughter and what she needs, because they don't know. I appreciate everybody's religion, but I do not subscribe to your religion. I don't ask you to subscribe to mine, and you do not have the right, based on your religious beliefs, to tell me, because what's next, as Clarence Thomas is signaling, they would like to get rid of contraception. Do you understand, sir? No, because you don't have to use it.
But that's crazy.
They don't have to use it.
Everything's on the menu now. Contraception's on the menu. Gay marriage is now probably going to be overturned. Affirmative action is no more.
We were not in the Constitution either.
Well,
we were not even people
he is
in
saying
the Constitution.
Nothing is precedent anymore.
Well, you better hope that they don't come for you, Clarence, and say you should not be married to your wife who happens to be white, because they will move that. And you better hope that nobody says, well, you're not in the Constitution, you're back to being a quarter of a person.
We're back to the 50s.
Because that's not going to work either.
We'll
be right back.
The 13th Amendment in the Constitution, saying that an individual is 3/5 of a human being if they're a slave, was not a race thing. It was between a free man and a slave. Individuals who were free black men, they were counted as a whole person. Like, I shouldn't have to explain that. There's more to that, but y'all can go look that up later. Look up Thomas Sowell, and he explains it way better than what I would. And also, the whole contraceptive thing is with certain states wanting to stop Plan B because they feel that that is the same thing as abortion, because you're destroying the child after they've been conceived, because it should be a state's issue. Certain things like that should be a state's issue. So the Supreme Court is not really being tyrants. And also, you're still able to get abortions in certain states. As a matter of fact, certain companies are out here trying to fund your trips to get abortions. And you would think that they're doing this to help you out. But in all actuality, if you think about it, it's actually cheaper just to pay for gas to another state than it is to pay for maternity leave. But that's my thoughts. What do you think? Do you think that the companies actually care about the women who are getting pregnant? And do you think that Clarence Thomas and the other Supreme Court justices are being tyrants by letting states decide on what they should do? But I'm your host, TJ Evans, with another episode of the TJ Evans Show. Remember to do the YouTube and Rumble thing, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, comment down below, like this video, and share it. Tell your friends about us. Y'all stay up, stay safe. Don't take my word for gold. Do your own research. Peace.